Okay, that'll do. We sort of sorted it.
Got it.
Yeah, you mean your Death Guard Dave, but I can't, we make do amend.
I'll take it as a compliment. There you go.
There you go, I found you, Dave. There we go, we'll put it
it.
over there. We're sorted. There we go. Good lord. I'm dreading this because
we've got a third webcam for the special guest that we've got.
Special
guest who's joining us tonight.
So yeah, this literally all just went horrifically wrong. It was all fine until I clicked the live button and everyone was just like, I'm just going to break. So yeah, thanks Streamlabs, really love that. But yeah, hello, welcome to the Scuttling podcast. And today's topic is, well, no surprise there, thanks to Mr. Will's special guest that he just showed us. We've got a new data sheet, sort of the data slate. Right? Yeah, a new data sheet came out for the updated sort of Defiler Datasheet, which is going to be the main topic of today. Now, while I quickly set up that screen, because that's going to be fun, what have you been up to, Mr. Will?
Not an awful lot, to be fair, but I've been trying to work out if I'm going to Sheffield or not at the weekend. I'm in a very unusual situation with my ticket for Sheffield, so I don't know what's happening. So I bought a second-hand ticket off someone on our team who can't attend due to some serious health conditions, and he's ended up in hospital. It was a scheduled trip to hospital to do with something serious, but I don't want to share other people's health stuff, but I think he's going to be in there for a good number of time, potentially even more than a week. So I don't think he's going to be back online before the weekend. So him having his operation moved forward, he couldn't attend Sheffield, which he was going to attend as his last event before the op. So I bought his ticket. He's been trying to sell his ticket in our team chat all of last week. So I bought the ticket on the Sunday. So he sent the email on the Sunday before going offline for to sort of focus on his health and family and stuff like that. So obviously I'm trying to sort things out, make sure it's gone through. UKTC have started emailing me saying that they don't recognise registration. I've emailed you, such and such has sold me his ticket. I've bought such and such his ticket. So after a bit of back and forth, they're like, such and such never bought a ticket. He doesn't have a ticket to sell. So such and such is actually offline, and obviously I'm not going to contact him and pester him because what's happening in the rest of his life is, it's life and death. Yeah. There was a chance. There was even a chance that this operation he might not have woke up from. He is good and safe. So if anyone knows what I'm talking about, he passed all his invuln saves and he is now a Primaris Marine.
Hey.
People who need to know that, but I still can't contact him about this. So I don't know if I'm attending Sheffield anymore. So I thought I bought a ticket. I've sent someone some money for a ticket, but I don't actually have a ticket. And it looks like it's now sold out. So maybe it's fate. I was starting to sort of like get a bit, maybe I shouldn't be going anyway. So maybe that's just put the nail in the coffin there. But we'll see. There is a chance that maybe such and such will come back online for the weekend and we'll get it resolved or whatever. But like I say, it's not the end of the world. Like I say, it's more important that people's health, people are in good health.
For sure.
And there's other tournaments. Like I say, I get a bit nervous with the list that I've been running. As much as I like the list that I took to Manchester and went 4-1 with, I think there was definitely some favourable pairings in that. And one of the things, I played some practice missions all on Linchpin, because Linchpin, I don't think I've won with that list. And I don't know, I've ended up in a bit of a tizzy with it, when you're trying to like fix a problem, but then you fix one thing and then the list feels like you've moved with the cut. Yeah, so like I say, so in the end I swapped a beast to a Poxwalker squad and sort of settled there, but then also copied and pasted the wrong version into the list. So while I'm trying to get like this ticket, I'm also saying, can you just copy and paste this so I have 3 Poxwalkers and 2 beasts, not vice versa? And they're like, it doesn't matter what you've got in your list, mate, you don't have a ticket. It's a bit of an interesting one. Although this like started happening like 9 o'clock, sort of like Monday morning sort of stuff. So it's been an interesting couple of days in that sense. But moving on to smoother things. I've had a chaotic start of the show, and there's some other things going in the background. How about yourself, Ian? Come on, you must have had smooth sailing in some 40k activities.
I mean, I haven't played since the RTTs did. Obviously, you've announced your latest GT that's coming up next month, which I'm hoping to go to. Is it April 15th, nice. 16th, I think you said?
18th and 19th, I think it
that
is.
Was it. So that would be cool. I mean, might even have a certain new model to take to that thing. You never know. Whether I get them painted up in time is going to be a different question, because these are quite big things. But 3 colours.
You can borrow the special guest. I mean, obviously I'll just be Teo and that. I've got plans. He's going to get some he's gonna get some bits stuck to him, so he will be
Okay.
he will be weaponized to be a defiler
Nice.
come the end of this week.
We also got a super chat very quickly from Last Criminal 594. Thank you for the $2.79 super chat. Defiler hype. Don't forget to like and sub, boys. Thank you very much, Last Criminal.
Yeah.
Whether you want to take his advice is up to you. It would make my day though if you did. But yeah, let's just get straight into it because we've already had enough technical issues and now I'm scared we're on like a running timer that this thing's going to explode before too long. So yeah, the Defiler. We already knew we were getting a new Defiler kit. And we already had a speculation of it, obviously, looking like it had way more guns, new weapon options. The one thing we were missing from the initial thing is actual rules and stats. Now, we have got majority of rules and stats. There are some things that we don't particularly know just yet, which we'll get into, and obviously we don't know points right now, but GW has officially themselves announced that they shared on Warhammer Community the brand new Defiler Datasheet. So, let's just run through it really quickly at its sort of baseline level here. So the Defiler itself, it's now, it is movement 12 now, it used to be movement 8. That is literally a 50% increase in speed. That is a big deal, as me and Will said, because of the size of the base of this thing, which we will talk about as a topic on its own, but the movement, even at 8, was sometimes difficult to like get through a building to the other side and clear the base. Going up to movement 12 is a lot more, like, you can stomach that a lot more. It's a big deal, that. So nice and faster. It's T11. Now, we'll come back to the end whether ours is going to be a bit different, but T11 baseline is higher than it used to be. Because bear in mind, the one on the screen,
because ours had the +1 toughness.
Yes. So the one on the screen right now is the CSM data slate. That's that. So theirs is now T11. Whether this means ours goes up to T12 to reflect our natural +1 toughness over the standard, we'll have to wait and see. That's the only thing we don't know. But I'm actually kind of hoping it is, because this thing at T12, that's a big break point.
At T12, that would impact a lot of the stuff that we're going to talk about throughout this video as to whether he's viable and whether he's viable in singles, multiples, blah blah blah, which we'll cover as we unpack the different things. But yeah,
would
T12 versus T11
open up another crazy T12 SKU list with Morty, Demon Prince, Taliband, even with GUOs and these things. That is a crazy SKU list you can build there potentially if it does get that. But again, we'll go off what we know for now. It has retained its 5 vulnerable and 3 up save. This was obviously standard.
Yeah.
I never thought it was going to get a 2 up save. I don't think it should. 18 wounds though.
Yeah,
is it a 3 higher? Is it 3 or 4 higher?
No, it's 4. Yeah, it's 14 previously.
So that's actually quite big deal as well. Again, just more survivability. It means like -1 damage stratagem on it. It's effectively against damage 2, got 8 more wounds, which is kind of nutty in that respect. Like we saw this with Catan, like just a few more wounds on them can actually make quite a big deal when you layer defensive strats on top of it. So that's really good. Leadership 6 and OC5, which I believe it already was OC5 because I was impressed by it.
Yeah, it was already OC5.
But yeah, actual stat line, pretty big glow up. So at bare minimum, if we get the exact same one as CSM, we have gained 4 wounds and literally double, like 50% movement. We've gained 4 inches of movement. That is a big deal. That is a big upgrade. So I think we're both very happy with that, aren't we, Will?
Definitely. Like I say, I'm very, very impressed. Like I say, as this video unpacks, I think we'll highlight some things that are not like well, I suppose things that we need to see that they once it hits the table. But I think the more exciting bit and some of the biggest club is the weapon options, because we've had the classic weapons have been ported over. So you've got your battle cannon, you've got your las cannon, you've got your scourge.
Even they've had glow ups though.
Yeah, but a lot of the weapons have had glow ups. Nothing's got worse. Everything stayed at least the same. And then there's just been some new weapons added on in addition to what wasn't there before at all. Like, it just give us some extra stuff.
Yep.
And like I say, we'll break it all down as we go. We'll run through the profiles first. But some of these profiles open up things that we didn't have previously in our book.
Yes.
So I think...
Should we go through the weapons next, or do you want to talk about the abilities? We'll do the weapons next. So very quickly, just from the chat here, Chukanori's been a member for 17 months, says, like and sub your slugs. Thank you very much, Chukanori. And thank you for being a member for 17 months, mate. Hope your dice reached you well as well that I sent you. VH1993 has also just become a Plague Marine. Thank you so much for becoming a Plague Marine. Very quick shill announcement. If you do become a Plague Marine or you want to support the channel, you can hit the join button for as little as $2.99 a month. membership gets you lifetime access to our Discord. Once you've paid, even if it's just for a month, you'll never be kicked. Once you become a member, go to our YouTube channel homepage, click the See Perks button. There'll be a link to get inside the Discord. Once you're in the Discord, go to your Discord settings, connections, and link it to YouTube. Should unlock the full server. If you have any issues, let any of the admins know. But thank you very much for coming to Play Green. And Lazy Chicken coming in with a gifted membership as well. Mr. Hattori just got that. So again, technically, you have just bought Hattori a lifetime membership to the Discord, which is awesome. So again, you're basically doing the Death Guard community a favor, and the support from you guys helps us keep all of our content completely free. We don't lock anything behind membership, so literally anything that helps keep us going, literally is for the better of the Death Guard community, hopefully. Right. Weapon time. So this is an interesting bit. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit so chat can see it a little easier, because we're looking specifically at weapons now. Okay. So, first up, we've got the Hades battle cannon, which is pretty much exactly the same as we had before.
It's just a battle cannon that appears in every other codex and every other format, just with Hades in front of it. It's the same profile.
Yeah, not really
same
sure why
as
they had to put the
bomb.
Hades there. I guess I just wanted to sound cooler.
It's just because it's chaos in it. They've got to make it different.
It's still not a bad weapon though. You know, D6 plus 3 shots. With blast as well, strength 10, AP 1, flat 3 damage. So obviously having blast keyword means it can get like stuff like reroll shot amounts in Virulent Vectorum. Also means Lord of Virulence will give it full rerolls to hit with that cannon there. However, this used to be the only. This used to be the only weapon option for the chest. Now we have an
fixed previously.
Yes, it was fixed. Now we have an alternate. So the alternate option is an Ectoplasma Destructor, which is again a blast weapon. So again, you can get those benefits. It is slightly shorter range, but honestly, 36 is pretty much most things. Yeah, like there's not really many line of sights mass, especially in the UK. Maybe on GW down the flanks there is, but on UK it's definitely not. So it's D6 shots, so you don't get the +3. You just get blast. You do get blast bonus though. This is however strength 12 AP 3 damage. So that is
AP and the strength in it a big break point.
Yeah, so as Will said there, the strength breakpoint getting over 10 is a big deal, and also 12 as well, because you think like you got rep X's right now, we can make them into T11. Now you can wound them on 3s with this thing. The like toughness 10 battle tanks that you see quite common. Again, the battle cannon would have to get in contagion range to put them to 3s. Now you don't have to. You can shoot them from across the board. All this kind of good stuff here. So you do lose the 3 shots.
The strength 12 is huge, by the way.
AP as well.
Because one of the problems that we traditionally have as a codex, and this has been indexed, this has kind of also been in previous editions as well, we struggle with things at a T12. It seems to be that GW think because we reduce the toughness by 1, we're seem to be capped at like strength 10 on all our weapons. So having something that's strength 12, next time you come against like a Lehman Russ, you can make it -1 toughness, and all of a sudden you actually wound it on a 3.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Lehman Russ's are toughness 12, aren't they? I might get confused with Rogal Dawn.
The Rogal Dawn is T12, 100%. Yeah. I know they've got 2 up saves though. They're around annoying. It might be a T12, but they're really annoying. I know that.
I think it's a Rogal Dawn T12. But now you can wound a Rogal Dawn if it's in contagion on 3s with an AP4 gun that isn't a las cannon. Like that's something that like outside of a Predator sponsored las cannons, and maybe a couple of spatterings of las cannon, that's massive. We've never had that before.
Yeah, because basically our main shooting unit at long range is the HBL drone, which is strength 10. Which, like Will said, against T11 at best you wounded on 4s in contagion. Against T12 you wounded on 5s regardless. So having something that can be T12 and have AP3, which obviously then can be AP4 inside contagion with -1 save. That's scary. It means marine tanks get a 6 up save only in cover, which is really impactful. Most infantry just dies if it's in the open against that kind of thing. And flat 3 damage as well is really nice because it means it's not variable. There is obviously a variable in the shot amount, but I think when we compare these 2 weapons here, the battle cannon and the plasma destructor, I think for me it's kind of a no-brainer to just go with a plasma. Like, yes, you lose 3 shots, but the odds of those, one, wounding the target's better, and then getting past an armor save are just far superior to having just the extra 3 shots in there.
I think, without blowing too much of the lead, I think that the Defiler's biggest problem is going to be AP on some of its weapons. And we'll come to its datasheet rule. It's a shame that its datasheet rule doesn't work on its own guns. It would almost be better if its datasheet rule read, when targeting opponents, units cannot take the benefit of cover against shots made by a Defiler. Do you know what I mean? Like, it would be almost better if it read like that.
Yeah. So, and yeah, as Chuck says in chat, it is true. If you do roll a 1 to shoot like Ectoplasma Disruptor, it is going to suck, but I feel like I'm not too fussed because I've got so many guns to go around it.
Yeah.
So even if you do roll a 1 on that, you've still got like all the other fixed shotguns on here, which feel a lot better. So moving on from the chest weapons anyway, so we got some really good chest weapons. Also, very very quickly, we got some super chats, some members. Sorry, Corey Chambers and MC Rethan have just become Plague Marines. Thank you so much. And MC Rethan has also, or is it MCR Ethan? It could be MCR Ethan. Has also gifted 5 memberships. You absolute legend. Thank you so much, mate. I really appreciate it from all everyone showing support tonight. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Again, if you're gifting a membership, make sure you go and get yourself in the Discord. So, moving on from that, we have nipple guns. We have nipple guns, Will. We have a choice of nipple guns. So, at first, when I read this, I genuinely thought the excruciator cannon, I thought that was both of them together. It's not. You get 2 of these things. So, it means you're going to have 12 strength 6 AP1 2 damage shots.
It's the damage 2 on that is huge.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's the same guns. It might be the same name as what comes on a Venom Crawler.
Do they have 6 shots on each one though? Are they 12 shots on a Venom Crawler?
The Venom Crawlers shoot loads of shots. They just don't have much AP. Yeah, like, they're actually not bad, to be honest. I'm pretty sure it's like I could get the CSM code experts. People in the chat, if they care, someone can check them. If it's not the same, it's very similar. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie though. Bit of an upgrade over a combi bolt for this to be like your spare weapon to shoot around.
It's insane, and I think these weapons being on there, by the way, are really good for its datasheet rule. Yes. So I suppose we should just say that the datasheet rule has stayed the same for the people. So we're talking about
quickly. Here we go. So it's Barrage of Filth in your shooting phase. After this model has shots, there we go. I need to zoom out for the chat to see because it zoomed in really badly. After the shooting phase, after this model is shot, select one enemy unit hit by more than one or more of its attacks, and basically that unit can no longer benefit from cover. You strip cover with it. So it's it's a good rule. It's generally a good rule. The only problem being that it doesn't benefit itself, which is a little bit sucky, as we have said before. So I would have liked for it to benefit itself, but there you go. Just pull it out. But it's nice to strip cover. That is a decent rule, and as Will said, all you have to do is score a hit. And the cool thing about these having 2 excoriator cannons means that you can basically just fire one of these cannons off at something that you want to strip cover from, and all the rest of your guns at what you actually want to kill. So you can still have, you don't have to fire both excruciator cannons, just one of them, so you can still put 6 of the shots at the main target, which is really nice. Just gives you that extra bit of flexibility to strip the cover and basically, get the impact that you want to have on the unit. I mean, I'm not upset at that rule. Like you said, I wish it just worked on its own. I would rather the thing just innately ignore cover itself. But it's a bit like the Predator in that way, where you kind of feel like you need a second unit to expose itself to get the most out of it.
I mean, the Defilers are weirdly Defilers' best friends. I think once we get to some of the things that are things to sort of like look at that could stop them from being spammed. If you can fit 2 in a list and it makes sense for playing, there's definite reasons for putting 2 in, because one of them you could load out with the lesser AP guns, and if the first one sort of shoots it first, all of a sudden, assuming Contagions there as well, you're like firing loads of like AP2 shots with high strength and good damage. Like it could be, it could be a real good. It could be something to consider once we know the points and a bit more information.
Yeah. Now these excruciator cannons can be swapped out for magma cutters. Now magma cutters basically is just a melter gun. It literally is a melter gun. Strength 9, AP4, D6 damage with melter 2 at 12-inch range. It is 2 shots each though, so you do gain basically 4 melter gun shots. I don't particularly see myself taking these 12-inch ranges.
I don't think you'd take them, to be honest. I think maybe I don't know, because maybe Emperor's Children might. Not even they wouldn't, to be fair, because you can build a nice anti-tank one, like where you just take lots of. But even then, I still think you just don't get as much. I think you're likely firing 12 shots, making people take loads of saves. You probably do more damage just by just throwing dice at people.
I think there's like a slight place for them in terms of if you build this to be like a full close range Defiler, whether that's the best use of a Defiler, we'll talk about after, but I can see an appeal for this, the Flamer, the Scourge, and rushing it forward. I don't think that's particularly what we need in our army, but like you said, I think EC might take these just for like popping transports, for example. You know, you can move, they can advance, they can shoot, pop it. But I think for Death Guard, I don't particularly... I think we're just going to take the 12x, because we can make the Excruciator Cannons AP2 because of minus on save contagion. I think you're just going to see a lot more, and again, we'll talk about this more at the end, but I do think Death Guard's role for the Defiler is going to be a lot more shooting platform.
So I actually think the Excruciator Cannon is one of the things that makes this really viable. So one of the things that, so like in the index, one of the things that I'd noticed with the Brigands, like the Knight Allies, we don't have anything in our book, and actually this is something that I was looking at with my list, you know, not to sort of like move the side. We have a trouble with killing, say, like 10 cultists on a center objective without exposing like 150 points plus, which I think is something that we've, and I know this is, you know, likely going to be 300, but it can pop out and do two things. You can pop out, shoot that, you know, shoot the transport, kill the tank, and clear the center objective just as a byproduct. Whereas like we don't have, like the Plague Bus is like one of the few things we have that fires mass like shots that isn't a Terminator unit, and that's something that we lack, to be honest. So I think just 12 shots, even if there was no AP, even if they're 1 damage, that are strength 6, so you can still, you know, with contagion get a lot of dice through. I think that's actually really valuable.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair point. Oh my god, very quickly. Jesus Christ, you guys are being so good today. Eric Long 4502 became a Plague Marine. Thank you so much. No Step on Sneck, $2 super chat. Ectoplasma is Blast. The LOV will give it rerolls to hit. Indeed, it will. Yep, so it makes it a bit more reliable as well. So if you get a good amount of shots and you got the rerolls, it's really, really going to hit hard. And Undoing sending 10 gifted memberships. Absolute legend Undoing. And again, if you got a membership there, make sure to say thank you and get yourself in the Discord. And Last Criminal also became a Blightlord Terminator. Thank you so much. Good lord, you guys are going crazy tonight. thank you so much, everyone. So like we still got the main guns to go. This has just been the chest gun and the nipple guns.
Just linking to the super chat, I think the reason, I know there's like, you can only roll 1 and you get, you know, more shots on the battle cannon, but you don't need contagion, which is why it's good. You can just shoot it without the target you're shooting being in contagion because of the AP3. The battle cannon is okay, but the problem is without contagion, it's not the same weapon. So the extra strength and the extra AP, you can just roll it out, and there might be like a, you know, a predator the other side of the board, and it can't get it on contagion, but it has to die. You know, it's going to come and do something next turn. It's going to get a firing lane, and you know, if it dies, what you've got on your expansion objective is going to be safe. There's nothing else can clear it. So you know, having something like this, you can just push out and have a reasonable chance. It might not be the best chance, but a reasonable chance is again something that we've lacked in our book. So I think it is, you know, because it's also durable for the slapback as well.
Yeah, it is. So we'll move on now to the main armament. So we've got a heavy Bale Flamer, which I actually think is really good as well. Ignores cover, Torrent's a flamethrower, obviously. 12-inch range, it is D6 plus 3 shots. Now, bear in mind, this used to be 5-1-1 on the old Defiler with twin linked, but now we've got and D6 shots, not D6 plus 3. So we've gained plus 3 shots, we've gained 2 strength, we've gained an AP, and we've gained a damage. It's a Redeemer Flamer, it's a Land Raider Redeemer Flamer. Yeah. This is...
I mean, it's haven't... One of the things I loved about the casters, and still do, is sometimes you can just scam people. And the amount of times you do it with like Marines, someone just charges like, I don't know, 5 power armored bodies onto an objective that like you're on, and you just go stuff it Overwatch. You roll a 5 or a 6, you roll high, the fail some saves, and then you just spike the damage and get 2 damages, and you're just like, you know, oops, just killed the full squad for, you know, for effectively nothing.
Yeah.
This Defiler is doing that like it's just got multiple roles. Like you can move out into a space, kill a tank or a transport like in the deployment zone. It can clear the center, and then it can also be a, you know, like a hazard. So whenever they move their next unit to say like put their out OC on the center, I'll Overwatch. And if
Yeah.
you kill that, then all of a sudden it just creates all these, and it's tough. So they have to expose real units to kill it, and then I just think it's got, it's got so many different roles, and the fact that if people charge it in combat, it can look after itself.
Yes, the punches. So, I mean, what I like about the Flamer here is you average 6 to 7 shots. Because the D3s here really help, sorry, the +3 really helps the reliability of it. Strength 7's big because it means in contagion range you're going to wound Marines on 2s, so you're pretty much going to wound with most of your dice here. The AP2 can go to AP3 in contagion over Overwatch, ignoring cover, so Marines will have a 6-up save. Remember, can't armor contempt in Overwatch because it's not in your shooting phase, it's in their movement phase. So you basically have Marines that can, like 5 in Cursor want to move out onto the middle. You average 7 shots, that means you average 6 wounds on them, and they have a 6-up save. You on average dice kill the squad. Like 5 Marines die on average this thing, and that is before all of the other guns Overwatch and shoot. Because you got to remember, you're not just got a Flamer, you then have 12 Excruciator cannon shots, the battle cannon shots, all the other guns that you took on the arm shots. This thing overwatches like a beast. It is a very scary prospect because and the one thing that's very interesting, and again I want to talk about Mortarion later, is I think this is the most guns we have in a single unit, tank-wise. Obviously, Plague Marines and Black Ops have tons of guns, but like this one thing has so many guns on it.
It's durable. I think that's the difference with it.
Yeah. You doesn't lose its guns. It's either alive or it's dead. It's got all of its guns or none of its guns. Whereas Plague Marines, we've all been there. We've lost 5 Plague Marines and out the squad.
The Plague Marines are a once and done unit is the problem. Like the Plague Marines could, in theory, do all the stuff we just said the Defiler could do if they're in the position. They could, shoot one. They could clear the centre with the flamers. They could put all the plasma guns and blight launch into a vehicle, kill it down there, charge something to kill something else, and then overwatch them at next turn. But then when you've done that, they just roll one predator out and you lose half the squad.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like they're not durable at all. Whereas the Defiler, it's not durable in different ways. If you get, the opponent gets lucky with a couple of last cannon shots, but it's more likely, and if it lives on 1 wound, it's still got all its damage.
Yeah, he hasn't lost anything. You might get -1 to hit, and that's about it, but you can live with that.
Yeah, and if you got that Flamer, it's not even that.
Yeah, so the Flamer is also a really good option. So literally everything right now is good apart from I don't think the Magma Cutters are bad, I just don't think we really need them in our army.
I don't think you'd ever look at the Magma Cutters.
If you want Melter, you take a Blight Hauler, because it gets +1 to wound on it. Like, you're just going to take a Blight Hauler if you want Melter.
Yeah.
And better range. But then you got the Hades las cannon. So even the las cannons have been changed. So they used to have 1-shot twin length. Now they're just flat 2 shots. But more importantly, if you want to, you can dual wield them. That was not an option before. So you can have this thing have, if you take the ectoplasma as well, you can have 4 plus D6 shots at strength 12 AP3/4 because of contagion with multiple damage on each shot.
I think you take the last cannon and the ectoplasma because I think the ectoplasma and the last cannon as a combo, that's where you've got you sort of all of a sudden killing a rhino is very realistic. I think with just the ectoplasma cannon, you'll do some damage, but you're not necessarily like to kill it unless you roll high on the shots. I think the last cannon thrown in, because all of a sudden, let's say you'll average 3 shots with 2 last cannons, that's 5 strength 12 shots that are all going to be around 3 to 4 damage on average dice. All of a sudden, that's when killing a transport becomes very real, realistic. It's not even like a sort of, it would be a fluke. It would be no, it's probably about 60%. Yeah. So I think to me, that's a really strong loadout to consider at least. But there's more to come as well, isn't there? That isn't even all of it.
It's the most strength 12 we can get on a platform, because the Predator Annihilator has 3 shots at strength 12. This thing has 4, and then plus D6 from the plasma extra plasma thing. So if you are interested in long range anti-tank, this is again probably looking to, and again like Will said, you still can kill Marines because you've got your Nipple
you keep
guns.
The Flamer though. I think it's 1 last cannon and the Flamer. I think the Flamer's too good. Yeah, because I think I say because his last cannon's 2 shots in it. Like I say, 2 shots plus the chest. That's what I mean. So I think it's about 60% killing a rhino.
Okay, fair. I do think. I think the ectoplasma goes really well with those last cannons though. Just having all that strength 12 is just really nice. So if you're in a tank heavy meta, you can just slap double last cannons on this thing.
I mean double last cannon in the ectoplasm is also very viable.
I reckon EC will take double last cannons this thing. Just have it move, advance, shoot with the ectoplasma and twin last cannons, just to give them some anti-vehicle punching, and it can still charge as well.
World Eaters might even, to be fair. This is also the first proper shooting on World Eaters have had, to be fair.
Yeah,
I think crazy. I think it's probably got more play. I don't know actually than CSM have also with some of the new detachments. I think it's good in every detachment. The Thousand Suns ones like rule is like nuts.
Yeah, Overwatch
It's in
on
the
fours.
Overwatch rule. Like yeah, theirs
Yeah.
is also like no joke. I think yeah. GW going to be selling some of these models. Let's put it that way.
That's for sure, yeah. MCI Ethan, thank you for going a Death Shroud. Hell yeah. Thank you so much. The highest tier membership. Absolute legend. Thank you so much. And the Burt Sheet with a $1.99 super chat. GW, in quotes, it's good on Overwatch. Give the crab towering. If this thing had towering, that would be horrendous.
Oh, mate.
Jesus Christ. So, next weapon, my favourite actually, I think I'm going to run Daka Crab, is the Heavy Reaper Autocannon. So, it is 4 shots each, and the important thing is these can be dual wield as well, so you can get up to 8, and they are strength 9, AP 1, flat 3 damage, but they do have sustained and dev wounds built in. I think these things are great for just putting shots down range, and they're good into multiple targets. I think dev wounds, I've played Reaper Autocannons and the Blight Lords, and they often put like 2 to 3 dev wounds on something when I shoot them. So again, even if you only get like 1 or 2 here, it's just flat 3 clean through on a target, which I really like. Combined with a Plasma Executor, Ectoplasma Destructor, that's got good AP, which can also penetrate through. I think this is going to be sort of the all-rounder weapon. I don't think it excels as much into killing tanks and stuff.
Yeah.
But like you really don't want to get shot by this on like your elite infantry. Like, good lord, you don't want this thing to look at your elite infantry because it's a few 6s off. Like, just again, you roll 2 6s on your wound roll. There's just 2 dead Sangard, just like that, just gone.
I mean, it's a sustained and dev in it, so
yeah.
But it's just rolling 6s here, and I think what you say makes good sense. I think the thing I would say as a counter argument to that is AP. Yeah. I don't think it's got enough AP for me to really look at it, and I'm saying this because I've been running the battle cannon knight in my demons list. That knight sometimes feels like the most oppressive thing in the world, until you're shooting something that isn't in contagion and is standing in cover.
Yeah.
And you are like, oh my god, this is like, it's without the AP. For example, that gun looks great, but you think I'm going to want to shoot Terminators. If they're standing in cover and you don't roll any 6s to hit, you probably you might not even kill 1. I think that's my issue with it, and why, if its datasheet rule was it stripped cover for itself, I'd be like, that is the weapon. But it's the lack of AP for me that makes me think I'd go Las Cannon 1 arm, Flame on the other, Plasma in the chest, and then the 2 autocannons that we said. But I think everyone's going to have a different role, and I think it's a Swiss Army crab, and we still have more guns to go.
So I'm going for the autocannons because I'm planning to run in a pair, provided the points allow it. Because I think in a pair, you could have one of them be a Las Cannon one, be an autocannon one, but I think as long as you can pair them together, if you manage to get strip cover and the AP extra on the autocannons, then they become really, really scary. AP2 and strip cover, that's when these really start hitting hard. But I just like the fact, like, if I just roll 2 6s on the wound, for example, like, I just take half a Ballistic Dreadnought's health just straight away before anything else is even shot. I like that about it. I have terrible luck with like 1-shot weapons like las cannons. Although we do have 4 shots here, which is quite nice. So I quite like that. And again, yeah, you can bring Predator Structurous chat saying as well, so if you want to get even more AP against infantry. But I just like I like the Daka, because I mean with that you've got 8 shots of them, 12 shots of the Excruciator Cannon, so that's 20 Daka shots. Plus D6 from your Ectoplasma as well. So you got 20 plus D6. It's a lot of dice to be throwing at people. That it's quite a lot of dice. So I quite like it for that. Then last weapon we've got is the heavy missile launcher. This is probably the one where, like, this is probably like the tamest one, I reckon.
I think this is actually, I think it's actually good. I think the problem with this is it's a little bit outshone by some of the other weapons. I actually would like this more if you could put 1 in each arm.
That's what I was going to say.
Yo, you're going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, because if this could be dual wielded, like you said, you're looking at 4 shots. You basically you're taking a hit to how good they are against las cannons in terms of anti-tank, and you're taking a hit in how good they are against anti-infantry compared to like the auto cannons. But what you get is this really middle ground Defiler, which is like, if you could take 2 of these, I agree. This is 100% the Swiss Army Defiler. You take 2 of these things, you've got 4 shots at strength 10, because they've got D6 plus 1 on the rockets as well, not just D6. I quite like that. But you could have 4 rocket shots.
And even the little rockets have got AP now.
Yes. And then you can also have 4d6 plus blast on those. The problem that you can only take 1 of these rocket launchers, kind of what puts me off. I don't think it's a bad weapon. I'm not going to say it's a bad weapon. It's still a decent weapon, but I feel like you're either going to be better suited with taking like the flamer, and whether it's like you could go flamer missile launcher, maybe like that might be okay. But I think like baseline, I'm personally looking at just having like double guns on top, like double Reaper auto cannons, or double las cannons, for example, something like that. I don't think it's bad though. It's nice. I'm glad it's got 2 shots finally. I'm really glad it got 2 shots and not just 1 shot like it used to. But then we have melee weapons as well. So the melee weapons have changed a bit as well. So I think the strike profile is exactly the same. 5 attacks, 16.
No, it's strength 16 now. I think it was strength 14.
14?
Before.
Okay, 2 extra strength. Not going to complain.
I think, and don't quote me on that. If it was 16, without getting the book, but I'm pretty sure it was 14.
But it's unless you're hitting toughness 8 things, it's basically the same. Unless you're very specific.
It's different because you room rhinos on 2s now.
Oh no! Because we T9 down to T8. Oh, okay, that's actually a big deal.
It is it's a bigger meaningful breakpoint than you think it is.
Yeah, because of our minus 1 toughness. Yeah, that is actually quite good, and it'll be AP4, so they'll go clean through a rhino, and then chat's confirming you are right. So they've got 2 strength. Okay, that is a big deal. Fair play. So that's really good. I like that.
Still 5 attacks though. If it had 6 attacks, I'd be much happier. Because like that's the problem with it. It's just going to be like hitting on 3s with 5 attacks. It's a bit like the Morty thing. Although he's still actually better in combat than Morty. It's more of a comment on Morty, I think.
Yeah. But
this is with the Scourge thrown in, by the way. I'm saying that.
Yeah.
Without the Scourge, Morty is better.
Yeah. But then we also picked up a sweep attack here. So we get a 10 attack profile. And what I really like about this profile is you only lose 1 AP. They could have easily made this 6-1-1. But instead they've gone 6-2-1, which means with -1 save contagion, you have an AP3 sweep. It is only damage 1, but that's probably fair. If it was 2, it'd probably be a bit oppressive.
What it's great for is stopping this model just getting targeted, because we'll come to it next. This model's problem is going to be like 1 occultist standing in an awkward place, or charging it with like say 6 cultists and 1 cultist being left in combat with it to like make it sort of, you know, hit with -1, stuff like that. So the sweep means you can't just throw chaff to bog it down and then deal with it later. You have to respect it across the board from the start as soon as it comes out there.
Yeah, and it has, like I said, it's got 10 attacks. It's strength 6, which is nice. Still with Marines on 2s, that means, because of contagion. For us, obviously, we're in Guardsmen, Eldar, anything like that on 2s as well. So, yeah, I'm really glad that it's picked up a sweep profile. It made no sense that it couldn't kill, like, more than 5 Guardsmen a turn. I mean, look at the size of the thing. At least you can now potentially kill up to 10. And then we get to our last weapon, the Electro Scourge. So this is a melee weapon that replaces a gun slot, though. So you will lose a gun slot for this. However, for the lacking of the gun slot, you are picking up a weapon with extra attacks. So you get to make these in addition to your claw attacks, which is an extra 5 attacks here. So that now you're now on 15 with a sweep, or 10 with the strike, which is getting a large amount. It has gained a lot of strength, up to strength 12. I think it was 10, believe it was. Strength 10 was it? It's gained additional AP.
Might have been strength 8.
I'm going to find it. I know it was pretty let down because I went to swing it.
I think it was strength 8, because I actually used to run it when I ran them in my very first list when the Codex came out, before they came up with the base, which we'll talk about afterwards.
Sorry, there you go, guys. We'll scroll down. Because I remember this thing getting into combat, and I was super happy to swing the flail. And I was like, wait, it's only like 3 attacks. Let me pull it up here. Defiler, melee weapons. Oh no, because it was always strength 12, but it was AP1. That was it, only 3 attacks with no other keyword. So it was strength 12, which is decent, but AP1 sucked. AP2 is now much better. Happy with that. We've also picked up 2 extra attacks, but we've also picked up a sustained hits too. So if you do spike some
sustained
6s
hits
here,
2 is the best bit about it.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. If you roll 2 6s here, suddenly you're looking at potentially 9 hits. That's crazy, like, output there. They're just going to run through Marines like mad.
It's also, if it adds to the sweep, going back to the Guardsman thing, say you're charged by 10 Guardsmen, 10 dice probably doesn't kill 10 Guardsmen, because you're going to roll a couple of 1s to hit and maybe a 1 to wound. The Scourge clears that, is why it would be good, but I think we're both in agreement here. And, you know, obviously, when we talk about there might be benefits, you don't want to lose one of those gun slots, I think, is because I think when we did an interview with Don Houston a while ago, and he had his good Elvion with 2 Defilers, I think he pointed out they're a gun platform that just happens to have combat. Like, don't see it as a sort of a combat unit. And I think the new data sheet that's more relevant than ever.
Yeah, I do think there is an argument though. Like it is still good. I mean, you could put this on it. You could put the scourge on it. You could put a flamer on it. You could play it VV, and you could just run it at your opponent, charge something like tank shock it, kill a bunch of stuff, be in the middle of their army, and if they kill you, auto explode it because these do explode for D6. So there is that. But I think
Okay, yeah.
I don't think I'm not particularly struggling to like kill stuff in melee particularly. I think Death Guard just do better with guns. A lot of people seem to think Death Guard's a melee army. I think it's way more a combined arms army, but I have much more success when I'm putting guns on things. So let's have a quick look over here then to its actual abilities. So its abilities, we have the biggest fix for this thing we need, which is the fact that the Scuttling Walker has been updated on its ruling. So Scuttling Walker used to be a literally non-existent rule. It was absolutely garbage. What it basically said is you can move over terrain features that are 4 inches or less without having to basically suffer any penalties. Now, Will, how many terrain features of 4 inches or less were there on a standard board?
Nowhere, not on any board that isn't for a casual narrative campaign. It's reality. It's reality.
It sucked. So
Everything starts at 5. So I always feel like with those rules, if they're printed at like 6 inches, it would be meaningful because then you can't just move over like massive bits, but you can get over little bits. So like that would have. I don't know where or who at Games Workshop thinks 4 inches of like ignoring that is important.
Yeah,
it's got to be 6 inches or ignores it at all.
Yeah, and thankfully
4 inches is not a rule.
Yeah, GW heard our plight because the rules have been changed. That now quite interesting here. Each time this unit makes a normal advance or fallback, this does not work on charges specifically. Just bear that in mind. But you can move through models as well, which is actually really big. That wasn't there before. So that means you can move over screens. People that are trying to like. It just means that if people want to screen you, they can't just literally put it in front of you now. They have to like either screen trailing backwards or try and screen where you're going to land. It just makes it a lot harder to move block than it was before. But also, you can move over enemy units that are in engagement range, but you just can't end within it. And you can move through vehicles. You can move over vehicles with this thing, which is kind of funny. You can like literally walk over like a rhino if you wanted to, which is really, really funny. Also, you automatically pass any desperate escape tests. That's actually pretty good. Just means if you are surrounded and you need to fall back, you don't have to worry about rolling a 1 or a 2 and having the entire thing just die. This makes it a lot more viable in terms of movement and where it can go.
Does the desperate escape test still pass if you're battle shocked?
Yes, you still automatically pass.
Wow, that is big because I think the problem you have with stuff like a Defiler is it'll lose half its wounds quite quickly.
Yes.
But it won't necessarily die. And then, I don't know, if you fail its battle shot test, you'll be in problems where you're sort of scared for it to fall back out of combat. Yeah. You feel like it needs to stay and just try and fight its way out, or you just roll all its shooting with -1 to hit or something.
Yeah, whereas now you can just happily sort of support. Now, bear in mind, that does not mean you can do anything. You are still making a fallback, so you won't be able to shoot, you won't be able to charge, but it just means you can't get bogged down and basically trapped there, which is really nice. Now, this is a big change. Obviously, we always said before that basically you had to play hammer, you had to use a strat every turn on it, and again, you were also moving 4 inches less. Now, you just natively move through buildings, you move an extra 4 inches, and what I really like about this in hammer is you can just give the damn thing assault. So this thing is potentially moving 18 inches through buildings to get angles and shoot
models,
things.
Yeah.
And models as well. That is a lot harder to stop moving where it wants to go than before. Now, it still will still have to be seen how it does play out because it's still a large base and it still will come with all large base problems.
Yeah.
But it's a lot harder to screen something out that can ignore all the terrain on the board.
I think so. I think we'll definitely need to talk about which detachments this could go in best. But I think this is probably the point where we also need to address the base problem because it's the old Defiler on paper. If you didn't look at its base, you just looked at its data sheet and you looked at its points for 165, you'd be like, that is cracked. That is like one of no way does that data sheet cost 165 points anywhere in this game. It's like Catan level of mismatch. But then you put it on its base and you play one game with it as Aidan tried recently, and you're instantly like, oh my god, I wouldn't pay I wouldn't even pay 100 points for this. It's just doesn't go anywhere. It's trapped. It can't even move down certain corridors because most competitive boards because his base is like, it's like 6 inches wide. It's like an objective.
Yeah, it's massive.
There's places where you can't even move down like channels, like, and even then, the 12-inch might be that you can't fully clear the channel. It might be that like a tiny little, like, say, sliver of your base is trapped where it doesn't want to be, and then all of a sudden you can't move at all. So I think that could still be an issue. I don't know. They haven't confirmed the base size yet. I know people seem to just be assuming it's going to be the same base size. Apparently, some clever people out there have like looked at pictures and like measured things that are like in the picture and then worked out the scale, and they think it's going to be the same. It's hard to tell without playing it though, because it's got so much extra move, and it can just move as the crow flies, ignoring terrain and models. Whether that's going to be an issue or not, or if it's just going to be something that's like completely moot now. So that's the thing that kind of like is in the back of my mind, is like, I think one Defiler in nearly every Death Guard list might become like a thing, like, but I think it's when you get to your second or even your
It's trying
third,
to maneuver them together.
are they just going to be like falling on top of each other? Because like on so many boards, you could just put one guardsman between two buildings, so you have to be an inch away from the guardsman, and then the building isn't going to be 7 inches either side away from the guardsman. There isn't any 14-inch gaps on the board. Like, remember, this base is bigger than 6 inches. I don't know how many times, but the fact it's a shooting platform, that doesn't matter so much. You just have to move into the angle. But then I think it's going to be interesting to see what it plays like. But then you have boards like DW terrain. This is going to be amazing on DW terrain, where you have huge, big staging points. But like what we play in the UK, UKTC, WTC, obviously, where there's like, they're the boards where we're kind of, in the back of my mind, I need to play it. I'm very excited about it, but I was very excited about Defiler at 165 points on its big base, and I still thought you could make it work. And yeah, no, it was very sad to try. So I don't know if it's going to be the same here, but I really hope it's not, because it's had such a glow up.
I think, like you said, I think the extra movement plus the fact that you can build these as Defilers is what's going to sort of save that problem from being. I think it'll still be an issue. You'll still run into times where you get move blocked, or you struggle to get where you want to. But I do feel like it's going to have a lot. It's going to be a lot more playable just innately. And if this profile becomes even remotely playable, like in terms of getting line of sights and stuff, for the amount of guns, obviously points are pending as well. It doesn't matter how good this thing is. If it comes out and it's 350 points, you're probably not playing it. But if it comes out as decent points,
it buffs the rest of your army as well. The stripping cover thing is bigger than you'd think, because all of a sudden, say you can't get contagion on a target you're about to shoot your 3 blow drones at, and the target you're shooting at is in cover, so all of a sudden they're AP1 instead of AP2. Stripping that cover is as good as getting them in contagion sometimes, because, you know, it might be that it's already not toughness 10, it's already a lesser toughness, but it's got a high save. So it might be that just having a Defiler helps other areas of your list as well. So I think, you know, like I say, it's got so much going on for it that, like, I think it's definitely, we've got to try it.
Yeah, got 100%. I think the other thing that I think here is people in chat are saying, like, oh, you can easily move block him with like 5 dudes from just putting 5.1 inches away from him. You can, but I'm also going to point out, I'll just overwatch you. This thing has so many guns. Again, if a Reaper Oil Cannon hits you, that's 2 hits each one. I've got a 12 nipple shots. I've got a plasma cannon shot. If I take the flamer, I'll kill 5 Marines on average. Like, this thing, like, you'll need multiple move blocks against it. And even then, if I'm in hammer, I could potentially go 18, jump clean over your head because I can move all models now. Like, there's a lot of things, like, variables that need to be tested and played first.
The problem that this is going to have is, so it was Reece Darville showed me this when he spanked me at a teams tournament, because I didn't screen his knights. Like, he just alpha struck me turn 1 and abused the fact I put 2 Death Shrouds in reserve and not none on the board. And he said I should have measured from the back of the base of the knight that's max move without an advance and put just a line of cultists there. So I think it was like, if you just measure from the back of his base, put them 10, he physically can't land it, and then using the walls. I think that's going to be the problem with people. Just measure from the back of your base 12, got like cultists here, where they are, the terrain's that side, so you can't land it where you want to be. You're either behind the terrain or going to a different angle that you don't that is substandard, shall we say.
But let's not forget, at the same time, we still have an army around this, so maybe you can support this thing's move lanes with, like, Plague Spitter drones, for example. You're not going to want to put out 5 Eldar or Plague Spitter lanes. That's what I mean. Will are saying, like, it's easy for us to say, oh, this shooting problem is amazing, or, oh, it's so easy to move block, but until we actually start putting it on the table and giving it a play, it's going to be hard to give you an actual thing back. Now, I want to say very quickly, I want to try this guy with Mortarion really badly. Because I think now we finally have a unit I want to use the shoot back ability on. Because, I mean, picture this, okay? I put a Defiler through the little bit of like cardboard near the central objective on UKTC. My opponent wants to move on to the middle objective, or even like just say my opponent wants to shoot me with an incursor. They've got some incursors. They want to shoot the Defiler. They move out. I overwatch the first one. I kill that entire squad, especially if I've got the Flamer. 100% that entire squad is dead. So now they have to send out a second squad to shoot me to mark me for +1 to hit. They shoot me, I use Morty, I shoot back at them, kill the entire unit. Before I've even been shot, I've killed 200 points of incursors. At that point, I don't really care if the Defiler dies, because it's already got 90% of its value back and pulled opponent's resources out. Like, a Ballista Dreadnought, for example, especially with the extra runes on here, doesn't particularly pick this thing up very well. But if that Ballista Dreadnought's in Contagion especially, and you got 4 Las Cannons and an Ectoplasma Destructor, if that thing's going to shoot at you, it better hope it one-shots you, because if it doesn't, it's eating 4 Las Cannons back and the Ectoplasma Destructor. There's a good chance you just go pop trade like that. And that's a very unique thing. There are not many things in the game that just shoot you back after you've shot them. And the reason we never really used it is because it's like you're not going to use it on an HBL drone where you've got the variables of like rolling a 1 on the shots and then you've shot 3 shots back. Woo! And again, the HBLs don't tend to, again, because you have to use it at the start of the shooting. The HBL's only got 10 wounds. There's a good chance it just pops and dies. Like, this thing's got 18. It's way more likely it's going to survive the incoming damage. It's got way more guns to fire back at thing. We finally have a unit that feels like it can make use of that ability from Mortarion. And again, if you feel like you can't, you can just reactively move the damn thing. So I'm excited to put these with Mortarion. And again, I really want to see if we get the extra Death Guard treatment. Do we go to T11? Because ours are currently 1 toughness higher. That's going to be a big thing. Because the reason that I kind of think we might get it is because I don't see a World Eater Defiler getting all this stuff and keeping Ballistic Skill 3. Because the entire like army identity for the army is Ballistic Skill 4. But the reason it's Ballistic Skill 4 is because they get rapid fire and everything. So they're going to have to do that for the Defiler, otherwise it's going to be really oddball and not fit in the army. So if they're going to do that for that, does that mean they're going to give us the T12? Are they going to put lethal hits on there? Imagine if they get lethal hits on the Excruciator cannons, dude.
Yeah,
like,
that'll be a bit nuts.
The only thing I don't want to see is lethal hits on my Reaper auto cannons because I want to roll for the devs. Please don't give me lethal on them.
I am in the camp where I think they're just going to change the... They're just going to change the datasheet rules.
Possible.
I think because it's like a new model, I don't think they want to rewrite it in every codex. I think they're just going to go, it's this, everyone has the same, except these things that you can't use to make it a little bit of flavour. I think that centralising it makes it a bit easier to balance as well. So, I don't know, like, I would love it if they do make it T12, though, don't get me wrong. This isn't a sort of like, this isn't that I don't want it to do that. This is a sort of what I predict will happen.
I will say, very quickly, for anyone that's building these Defilers, I'm going to give you a scummy tip here. I don't like the fact that we have to do this, but it is true. If when you model this thing, lift 1 claw up and point it forward. Because there'll be points where you need to stick a claw around a corner to shoot something, and you pivot for 3 because you're a vehicle on a circular base. So if you can just stick that thing around the... If you can't physically move past the ruin, you just stick your claw around the corner and you can shoot from the claw. Is it scummy? Yes, but everyone does it. We're all shooting from the wingtips of Mortarion. We're being shot by the barrel ends of Repulsors and Rogel Dawns. So if you're going to model him, just put 1 claw forward. I'm hoping GW fix this and we move back to having, you know, the base-to-base LOS. Like, that's it. But you would be making the Defiler a lot worse by modelling it like fully inside the circle and not giving yourself somewhere to shoot from. It's stupid and I don't like it, but that is the way the game is played. So if you are going to build this thing,
within reason, isn't it? Like,
don't T-pose the damn thing, but we have seen on pictures it can have the front claw raised like that. Just have it raised. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I think that's very fair. So obviously we've discussed a lot about this. We've got detachments to go through, but before we get there, let's do a points prediction. What do you like? There's one number that's come up multiple times in our team chat. I don't know if you're going to say so. You say your number first. I'll write mine in our chat to know sort of. What? Don't look at the chat in. Close your eyes. I've put it in the chat, so So I'm not saying supposed to you. What do you think? Because if you come up with this number 2, I feel like it's very likely.
I think it's going to be 160 because the twin lances that. So where are we allowed nice things, please? I'm joking, by the way. I don't actually think it's going to be 160.
That would be quality.
That would be very funny.
If it's 160, just buy 3.
GW, are you trying to sell models? No, I think off the rip of my head, I'm thinking somewhere between 240-ish, around that. It could be like 10 higher, 10, probably not 10 lower, like maybe 235.
We 250 seems to be
250, 240, yeah. That's where my head's at.
Now, I'm saying that based on it having the same size base as it does at the moment. If, and this is a big if the base size goes smaller, Guo or smaller, it needs to be more points. It needs to be 280 upwards to be balanced on that smaller base size with the new rules. So I think the base size is going to be the base size is going to be the most impactful thing of the stuff that we don't know. Like that's the thing that I think we need, because the base size, I guess, even if it just goes down to a Guo size, like with those rules, it'll just be so good. Like because moving the Guos around, they have surprised me how easy they are to move, especially when you can spend a CP to move them through a wall. 12-inch move on that base, ignoring everything. Like, this model is.
I'm just saying, in the chat we've got people guessing like 180. This is 180, mate.
Oh,
I don't care. I'm slamming 3 of these fuckers in everywhere.
I mean, the thing that I think is mad when we talk about that is that the PBC is still like 210, and I'm just like,
oh, whether this comes out, it's going to absolutely make the PBC. It's going to mog the PBC.
The PBC, I still can't believe isn't 180. I can't believe it's not 180 still.
Agent Brandy, the only thing we know about Death Guard so far is the ability, which is to strip cover, which is the current ability of the Defiler. Whether anything else changes, we'll have to see when they go up for pre-order.
There is a bit of text right at the bottom that seems to imply, if you read between the lines, that it's just a datasheet rule, because it says like don't worry guys, we haven't forgot you. The datasheet rule will change. It's something along those lines. If you read down, it's like the second.
Yeah, they have their own special codex, and they get their own special Defiler that replaces the Demon Forge ability. I mean, I'm going to stay on the hope train. I still think even if it doesn't happen and we don't get Tito for that, I still think it's looking really good. So I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think regardless of anything, the biggest thing is obviously points and base size. They're the two things that are going to be. The base size maybe is even more than the points, to be fair.
Also, very quickly, Dr. Meatball, thank you very much for going to play Green, mate. I didn't miss you. We just get yapping. Thank you so much,
I'll
mate.
get some dirty
Give him a shake. But I mean, the more important question is how much are they going to cost RRP is the actual more important question.
I think you're going to be looking at £100.
Yeah, that's more worrying.
I think you're going to be looking about the cost of
if only we had an Element Games affiliate link.
No, if only you already had some hooks. I'm gonna the chain guns, because they come on the same gun. The Hades autocannon comes on the Forge Fiends as the other weapon you don't use. I'm literally gonna stick on the shoulder one each. I'm gonna break that claw off and put the double las cannon from the Hellbrute on with a bit of green stuff, and then that already looks like a flamer. And it's and then I'll put a plasma gun under his guts.
That is very
and
true.
then he's job done.
I mean, I've got the old Defiler still on sprue there. So if there's anyone in chat who wants an old Defiler, I mean, I could just keep in that box for like 5 years and then sell it for like 400 quid when there's no Defiler kits anywhere. And there's that one guy that's like,
want the finger point forward, the old sculpt, you could do it much easier with that.
True. I don't think we're building that one, that's for sure. I'm going to just wait for this bad boy to come out. But I mean, yeah, I think I'm really excited to give it a go. I think VV and Hammer is kind of just where you're going to see this thing. Champions, it doesn't really have a place because obviously it's not going to benefit.
I don't know. I kind of thought. I don't think it's out with Champions as much as you think it is.
It's just a solid gun platform. It's just a good gun platform.
Yeah, the reason I like it in Champions a bit more than others, I I haven't tried this because I'm just not getting as many games as I used to. I think champions, I quite like 3 Blight Lord Terminators with a Lord of Virulence because they
Really?
open up all the strats, and with the strats on them, you get a lot. So I actually think you can realistically put a Lord of Virulence or even 2 in there as a cheap little package with 3 Blight Lords that, with the strat access they get, become quite a nice little package. So I think because you can give them the re-rolls and you wanting to do that for other reasons, I think that might be something to consider. But at the same time, I mean, it's they're great in VV,
Yeah,
aren't they? Because
VB's
of that
really
one
good.
start we can, because they've got so many random damage shots. One shot to reroll, basically one shot to reroll or hit just on this one model before anything else even shoots at the same time. They can also reroll its
Yeah.
hits. Like, yeah,
I
that, and then but
I really want to see this thing though. I'm actually becoming a Hammer fan. I don't like Hammer normally, but I just want to see this thing. I want to play against Eldar, and I want to give it a soul and roll a 6, and just watch the Eldar's player's face when this giant crab comes crashing through a wall 18 inches, lands in his opponent's lines, and then just like if there's like 4-5 man squads hiding behind the wall, just with all the Dakar it's got, just kills every single fucking one of
yeah,
them.
I mean that's start to shoot stuff in your opponent's deployment zone for a
Yeah,
CP is
that's
also
actually
good on
really good on
this
this guy.
because again, it doesn't need contagion for his guns to work if you've got the las cannon in the chest. So like turn 1, they've rolled a repulsor out on their deployment zone, to shoot something. So you put your Defiler out, you can actually clap back at it like
Yep, hitting
realistically
on
in
threes,
that CP.
re-rolling. If you've got the fella nearby the LOV for the real ones to wound as well,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah,
it starts to
yeah,
add up.
yeah.
Like,
It does.
ooh, I don't know.
I
I'm
mean, I
excited.
mean, even Taliban, he's not bad for the stats check. I think the problem with Taliban, you got to be careful, is you're going to end up with like too many big bases.
Yeah,
That's what worries me there. I mean, he's also great with the, because you were looking about Mortarion, he's also great with the battle cannon knight because of the stripping cover thing.
yeah.
But I think the concern that I have, like with Morty in this, I think you might end up with like lists where you just have like no actual units. You just end up with like, I don't know. It depends how cheap this guy is. To be fair, you
If
might
I
end up
get
with
to
just
crab rave on someone with a giant moth and 3 crabs, and I just get to crab rave on someone, I'm doing it. You know, I'm doing it. Where like I'm gonna 100% crab rave on someone. I don't know. I just think they look cool, man. I just want to
two
play these things.
Defilers and Morty,
Oh yeah,
like
I think
one
it's
poking
legit.
on either side of a ruin, both within 6, or one can reactive move if you think that's better, or you can shoot back if it doesn't get killed.
Yep.
That's quite a hard thing to crack for a lot of people, especially if Morty's there to heroic intervene as well. So
Yep.
say it is something where okay, I'm not going to kill it, but it's not going to kill me because it's only got 5 attacks. So I'll charge it with, I don't know, something just to bog it down and hold it in place. Soon as Morty goes over a heroic intervene, like it's dead. Do you know
Yep.
what I mean? There's nothing that lives for there's very few things that live for Decryler's Smash Claws and Morty Sweep. So yeah, like I
It's
think there's going to be so much play with it.
Yeah, I'm excited to give it a try. I will be picking up 2, I think. So I'm going to try and hopefully magnetize. I don't know if that's going to be possible. We're going to try because I think my ideal build straight up is to try and mag that auto cannons and mag the las cannons, and then just try those 2 builds out, see how it goes. I'm going to probably play around with the flamer later on and things like that for a more aggressive. I'm not a very aggressive player anyway. I prefer the shooting platforms. That's just me. Birchie, we'll start wrapping up in a second. But Birchie, $1.99 super chat here. What ability would you 2 want for the crab? What do you mean to replace the ignores cover? Oh man, I don't even know. I get.
I think if it ignored covers on its own shots, I think
Yeah,
that would be
that
a
wouldn't be
very
too bad.
subtle but realistic change for
If
me.
it
I
was
mean, I
like
don't know.
select one enemy unit, so you can't split fire and ignore cover, so you only get to shoot one thing and you can ignore cover. So it's like just be like, hey, if you put all your guns into the same target, you get ignores cover. So it's restricting you by saying all my guns have to go here, but I'm getting ignores cover for it. I would like that quite a bit. That would be quite good. But honestly, I'm fine with just stripping cover. I'm honestly quite happy with how it is. To be fair with you.
Yeah, I don't really know. I don't really know what you could go with. I mean, it's already good because like you could. I mean, it'd be great if we could steal the Thousand Suns data sheet because I
So
think theirs
much
is
on
actually a
fours.
bit better, to be honest. If we could steal that, like that's a really good one. If people want to look that up, the Overwatch is pretty impressive from theirs. It's Overwatching on 5s, isn't it? And then there's
If
also
there's
like a sort of like a
if
condition where you can make it 4s.
Yeah, so
It's a really
basically,
easy
if the
condition.
thing you're overwatching is within 9 inches of a psyker, you get to overwatch on 4s instead. Which is again with the amount of shots the thing puts out, That is a real deal. That is real scary. And Agent Brownie is also from Plague Marine. Thank you so much, Mr. Agent Brownie. Really appreciate it. Make sure you get yourself in the Discord. But yeah, right. I think we'll start wrapping there because we're already 10 minutes over. I think me and you are very clearly
it's dinner time.
excited though about the Defiler, and we are looking forward to getting it. Obviously, when it goes for pre-order, hopefully maybe it's this weekend. We don't know yet. But when it goes for pre-order, that is the day we should see the downloads page on Warhammer or even our apps, for example, get updated with the updated data sheet. So we will see if there are any changes. If there are any changes, obviously we'll talk about it. Because I would obviously love to see us get T12. And I think that if it gets T12, like, you are looking at like some disgusting SKU list you can make with that thing.
Tell you what, one more thing before we close it down. What would be the points cost you definitely don't think you'd pay for it? What do you think of what we've seen so far? Assuming it's the same base.
300.
The rules. Where do you think you'd stop paying for it? Cause I think that's also an interesting.
Well, I stop probably 280.
Yeah, 280. Okay.
Yeah,
that sounds about right.
Because when you get to 280, I don't know. Like, it is like it's a lot better than it was. But I'm very hesitant to put something on the board that costs that many points that doesn't have the defensive layers that Mortarion the Demon Prince does with the 5 Feel No Pain and the 4-pin vulnerable. Like, again, you can just whiff your 5-pin vulnerables and a few last cans. Like, okay, again, double rep, like a rep X can just one tap this thing, a possibility. And if I'm gonna, there's a good chance you bounce an invuln, don't get me wrong, but we've had the games, where, you don't make your invuns, and I don't like the idea of losing a near 300 point model off that. Like, Morty has the backup of the Feel No Pain, he's got a better invuln, so it's a lot more reliable. So that would be like the way I'm starting to push the limit. If this thing comes out 240 or below, I'm really happy with it. If it comes out something like 220 and below, like, yeah, 100%, this is slamming my list. If it comes out sub 200 GW or smoking crack, but hey,
mate, I mean, if it comes out at 190, then like I say, I already own 3 of these. 3 of these will be quickly, the other 2 will be quickly getting painted, and the conversion I mentioned before will be happening at lightning speed.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, what about yourself? When would you stop using this thing?
I'd stop considering it. I don't know, 290, maybe 300.
Yeah.
Like I think it depends because it is also quite a unique profile. It depends what list you put it in. Like, I think
if you run cheap around it, yeah, you can sort of stomach it.
Yeah,
more.
As soon as it gets too close to being a knight, I think that's a problem because there is a point where you're like, oh, if I'm going to spend that much, I should just put a knight in because a knight is also as efficient in many ways. It doesn't get as many sort of bonuses, but like some of the Cerastus knights, for example, like they're also pretty good.
Yeah.
So I think 290, 295 maybe.
That'll be awesome. Well, we'll have to wait and see. Maybe just one more week and we'll get all of the answers fully. But for now, as you can tell, me and Will are very excited to get this thing on the table and give it a try and see if the Defiler can become the new meta menace. But I do think even if it doesn't end up being a Death Guard, I do think you're going to see these things on tables in the other Legion armies because it just looks like a good profile. If this is pointed anywhere remotely competitively, it's just going to be good. But I'm going to be taking two.
Even if you don't see them on the top tables from all the the named players, should we call them? I suppose Aidan, you're one of those as well, actually. Like you in this Wilsons and people like that. Even if you don't see them, then you're definitely going to see them in mid-table lists. People pushing 4-1s, 3-2s. You're definitely going to see it. I think we can all agree on that. Like in whatever God Legion or CSM.
Exactly. Agreed. Right, so what we'll do then is we'll wrap up there for now. So again, thank you so much for everyone for tuning in tonight. And again, if you enjoy the conversation, please leave a like or a subscribe if you're new here. We're just a Death Guard channel. We just make Death Guard content. And obviously we will update you. Dave will be back next week and give you his opinion as well. And we might even have the full rules reveal then, so that'd be really cool. We get a full data sleep. And maybe it's the same, maybe we'll get some extra changes. We'll find out. But yeah, this has definitely got me hyped to put my Death Guard on the table with some new, like you said, it's new profiles that we don't normally have access to, and they just look sick. So I'm really happy.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, like I say, I'm gonna stick to my old. I think I said before, it's my favorite model that Gamesworks have ever made. It reminds me of Doom 2, one of the big boss guys. So that's just a bit of nostalgia. But the new model is also sick, by the way. I might buy one just to buy it, just to build and paint him and own one.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. So yeah, we'll love yous and leave yous there, guys. So thank you very much for tuning tonight. Take care wherever you're around the world, morning, afternoon, evening, day, wherever it is. We will see you all on the next episode. Take care. Stay rotten. Bye-bye.
Bye.